Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. It's nice to be in Moscow. I've never been here before. It's a nice town. Thank you very much. Some of you heard my colleague yesterday, Mr. Osholt. He described the Norwegian model, that the Norwegian model is something in between. And I would like to emphasize on that in my presentation. We have both, we have to have the balance between the partnership between the state and the municipality. That's the first thing. And the second thing is to have the balance between the benefits and how to get people back to work because of the broadness of the tasks you have to deliver on in our offices. I think, no, it's something you... Oh, it's okay, yeah. So I'll start where he left off. We believe that our organization model is right for us. We are shaped for meeting the future challenges. But there's always a but. There's always something you have to work hard on. I'd like to share with you again some of the basic facts about Norway. It's a long country. We're divided into 19 county municipalities and 428 municipalities. And it's a very low unemployment rate. And that's part of what my colleague said yesterday, why the model is functioning quite well for us right now because of the low unemployment rate. It's easier to actually implement. We are quite aware of that ourselves. So I just have to give you the framework. This is NAV. We have been a merge of those three elements: the social insurance, the public employment service, and the social service on the municipality level. This is a big challenge for Norway to make this work. And the first process we had to do was to make that each person working at the office just had one screen to look at, not three. You can see that three different elements combine into one, and it wants to be one stop. They would like people to get into now meeting just one thing, but it won't be just one thing, because everyone doesn't meet us in the office. Of course not. They call, they use the internet, and that's the way it will be a challenge to make that work as one door, one-stop shop. That's the challenge. And I have to give you more background information. This is the broadness of the service and the core activities in NAV. What I've outlined is what comes in the PES context. But as you can see, we have to deliver services from family up to pensioners. So we pay out 1/3 of the state budget through our IT systems. 1/3 of the state, that's a lot of money. And it has to be stable, it has to work all the time. The pension has to be on the right time. This is a challenge when you would like to change the way you work, and you would like actually to work on the public employment service part of the business. So the first 6 years, we have been focusing a lot on making sure that we can have a platform to build further on when it comes to benefits. That's the challenge for us. And we sort of have been stabled right now and are on the brink of actually getting to focus on work again. The structure of the user's interaction, as I said, is not just one-stop shop. It's a lot of ways to get in touch with us or have a dialogue with NAV. We use social media. We use the internet. You can use the phone. You can meet us in person, and you can send documents. And we have approximately 3 million users, and we have 35 million visits on the internet, 10 million calls. In person, people visit us, approximately 1 million visits a year, and we receive 22 million documents. And if you would like to change this, you need to use the IT as an enabler to make this change to digitalization of the way you work. But you have to work step by step when you would like to keep the balance between the benefits and getting people back to work. So what we have done is that we have some IT services for the employees and the employers. We have a register for job vacancies, a CV database, and we have 2 million unique users. This is probably one of the challenges we have to work much more on. The framework which we work in are changing. The world is changing. People find jobs in a different way, and we need to be on that. We need to be in that change. We do have an online employment status. People have to tell us how much they've been working the last 14 days and if they're going to be a job seeker for the next 14 days. And they do that every second week, and they tell us that online. They can do that from everywhere. They don't need to meet us in their offices. That's a good way to make that work. We couldn't have managed those local offices if we had to have everyone come in and tell us, I still want to be a job seeker. And we have a solution for sick benefits. We have an application which actually gives the employers to follow up with the sick employees. And we receive 300,000 electronic sickness forms produced every month, and that's almost everyone is received electronically, and we don't need to have them on paper. And that's a big change, actually, because of there's a lot of paper and a lot of information, and it's much easier than we have to scan it in or to write it in. So it's a very important step for us to make sure that we take away all those other things to do that actually takes the time away from getting people back to work. It's important for us to make sure that those people are working with that and not with this kind of documents. We are working in parallel with other benefits which we'd like to have online. Parental leave. It's a difficult system in Norway because you can apply, both mother and father can have parental leave, of course, and you can change in between those two, and we have to do a lot of decisions when they redecide what they would like to do. It takes a lot of time. So if we could have an online solution making that easier, it would be free us from a lot of work. So right now, pension applying online are automatically. So I will tell you a little bit more about that later on. So our vision is actually to be better for the society, better for the users, and better for the NAV employees. If we could make all those three work, that would be the heaven. We've done a first successful step on the road to digitalization. We have a self-service for pensioners. This is quite unique. We actually got a Computer World Honors Award in 2012 because of this one, and we were quite proud of it. We are collecting data from employers, and we have fully automatic calculation, and you can simulate your future pension, and you can possibly apply online, receive within seconds your acceptance for the pension, and you get it on your account. This is unique. We don't have the data within our systems. We just collect it and actually send it back, and then you can get your pension. So we don't have need a large computer or a database to actually store all that data. So we worked a lot with all of the employers having the pension information and giving that to us. We have some of it ourselves, but we don't have to have all of it. The upcoming IT solutions. Modernization of the landscape of benefits. We are going to offer more online service. We have to support new regulation, and we have to build for the future more common components on data sharing and other public services. So we're trying to cover just disability benefits, sickness benefit. We have to have a better dialogue with the employees, because of all the employers, they have all the information about people who have worked for them. Why not just receive it from them directly into our systems? They have it in their personal HR systems. It's much easier just to have them transfer it to us than actually have to print it ourselves. So we have a large project in Norway on that, and we're going to deliver on that next year. And there's coming to be an update on the pension reform, and we have to have more digital communication with the users. We would like to replace the way we write to people and they write to us. We would like to digitalize that. And in Norway we have a large project actually making that work later this year. We're not going to send out so much paper. We would like to give that to the email box to each of the citizens in Norway instead of sending it on paper. Much better way to do it. And then I have everything in one place. But we make sure that that mail, that post, is actually secure. And we've done that. So we have a pilot going up in November, and we'll be going live in January or February next year. So some of the best practices. We would like to do three things. We would like to more automatization of the things we have, be more self-service, and more centralization. Those three things. And then we'd like to have more online service. We'd like to have more of the application that people actually want to use. We have to meet them where they would like to meet us, and that's not in the office. They don't want to come into the office. They would like to use the internet. And the penetration of internet in Norway is quite high, higher than the rest of EU. So this is an advantage for us when we would like to make those kinds of changes. We are on social media. We use Facebook. We've used it on some areas where we actually can get the people to communicate easier with us than by mail or by paper or even by phone. So, and we are on Twitter and we have apps. So we're trying to use all of these things to actually give us the advantages on those different areas we need them. We're trying to do this by saying, in what channel are we going to communicate? If you look at this presentation, if you take one client group based on the needs of the client group, you try to think, is it possible to serve them automatically? If yes, then do it. Take another group, is it easier to simplify the application process? And the next step, adapt communication. And the fourth step, guiding the clients through the right channels, and then have a dialogue. You have to think through that. That's our channel, the strategy of channels. But you have to think, what kind of need does that group have? Could you group them? Is it possible to say that they have a common need and a common way to solve it? And then we try to do that. But you have to work within your organization each group doesn't have so extremely many needs on their own. Try to make them as in a form that is possible to make this kind of choices. The platform we have in Norway isn't that easy to walk away from. We have in-house solutions built from the 1970s. We're not starting on scratch. We're starting with a legacy of large systems that we've been using and to supporting sort of a silo, more the way we've been working back then. It support that way. It was nice, but not now. Now we need to, as I told you, think of the channel we are going to communicate with the users. So what we're trying to do is, you can look at this legacy system back from the 70s. We call it the dental drawing because it almost looks like teeth going down into the system. And you have to pull out a tooth and then make it as different layers and make it possible to communicate and leave some of it behind and make a virtual platform on top of what you have and then application on top of that again. This is the way out of it. So we would like to be more in the clouds. That will be heaven, as I said earlier. That's a joke with IT people think is very funny. Consolidate, standardize, make the automatization, and you have to be more flexible. It's so difficult for us for the future if we are not more flexible. So the IT division's main challenges is both strategic planning, stretching to meet the user's expectation, expected to provide stable service while using new technology, and always lowering the costs. Expected to share data and services in a secure way, and stretching to meet new regulation and digitalization strategy by the government. Some best practices. I'll use this one. I think this one is better. To actually succeed, you need all the bits of the puzzle to find the right way of the way to go. And that's, I think all of you has felt this in some part of the choices you have to make. We need the business orientation. We need the service oriented and quality oriented. This is the different elements we need to work on to make sure that we actually get the best practice. But there's a lot of best practice out in the market. So that wraps it up. I think we have a good standing right now, but it's difficult to find the balance all the time, and we use the best practice to make that work. Thank you for your attention.